And we're live. Yay! Welcome, everyone. This is the fourth session for our campaign, Black Sails in Dark Skies. Thank you for watching, tuning in the present and in the future and in the past. If you're watching this, I want to talk to you because there's a couple of questions I have for you, so call me. Anyway, I will throw this at my players and they can introduce themselves. We'll start with Megan.
Hi everyone, I'm Megan. I am one half of the YouTube channel Dice on Ice, where we do live plays and we give out advice, even when no one asks for it. So today I will be playing Nicola King, the ship's surgeon / cook. So this game is awesome. I love Genesys, and I'm excited to get back into it.
I'm excited to see what she's going to do next, now that she's hanging on for dear life. And that'll bring us to Jason.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jason Smith. Very much looking forward to getting back into this. I have completely fallen in love with the whole Genesys system, in particular this story. You know these guys. They're all great. I'm just glad to be here. I run a little channel called Smith's Forge Gaming, where I run a few live plays over there. If you feel so inclined, go check it out.
Thanks, Jason. And Jeremy.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jeremy. I have the YouTube channel, the Erasmas Expeditions. I do live plays and videos talking about RPGs, a couple of crafting videos, things of that nature. I'm also 1/3 of the Dudes of Yore podcast, which can also be found on YouTube. We just uploaded, or not uploaded, but just recorded a live episode of that last week. It was a lot of fun. Tonight, I'm going to be picking up once more Bronson Fisk, better known as Mr. Fisk. He's a very serious individual, but carries a bit of a wallop. Genesys is still very shaky ground for me. It takes me a long time to really pick up a new system that has complexity to it, and that's definitely been the case with Genesys. However, I'm really, really enjoying learning it. The dice mechanic is very different and has a lot of interesting aspects that it brings to the table. So I'm very excited to play with all of these people. I get the chance to play with most of these individuals on a fairly regular basis. I'm kind of lucky that way. And getting to play under Karen as the GM is fantastic. So I'm very, very much looking forward to kind of getting back into this and seeing what the hell's going to happen when this Tempest hits.
Well, thank you, Jeremy. I am also curious to see what you guys are going to do when this Tempest hits. So get back to that. And last but not least, Baron.
What's up, everybody? My name's Baron. I run the YouTube channel RWD Gaming. I play D&D and stuff. I'm reprising my role as Charlatan Charlie, who the guy's got some issues, but he's fun to play. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. And so we find ourselves kind of where we left off last time. This intrepid crew has managed to sneak on board the Bite of Justice and taken a big bite out of it, if you will. They've managed to disable the propulsion system of this vehicle, the ship. But in the process, they have been spotted. They have been, the alarm has been risen, and they have been chased and kind of in a predicament at this moment. We have them in their lifeboat trying to get away, but our poor Nicola is hanging on the edge of this boat, dangling over the sheer drop below. And if everyone could roll me initiative, that would be wonderful. We'll start there. Because not only do we have all of these shipmen on the other ship, you know, the alarm has been risen, they have grabbed their guns, they're going to fire at you, but the tempest that has been on the horizon has hit you, and the storm has started. Winds are buffeting your ship. to and fro. The big one now that without its propulsion system is kind of, I want to say for it, marooned. So it's just being buffeted constantly in these winds, and the rains have started. It is pouring down on you, so visibility is hard as well. And with that, what does everybody... So initiative in this case would be vigilance.
Okay, so if my willpower, which is the basis for vigilance, is 2, but I have no ranks itself in vigilance 2 or in vigilance, I'd roll 2 green die.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
And I would roll 3 green die for 3 willpower and 1 for vigilance. So what? That would be a blue die? Yes.
So you would get 2 green die, 1 yellow die.
1 yellow die.
Yeah.
Haha. So many dies.
All right. I got 1, I believe, 1 success, 2 advantages. I'm going to double check that with my little handy dandy cheat sheet.
I got 1 advantage.
Where's the thing?
I got
It's at the
nothing.
bottom. Okay, so yeah, 2 advantages and 1 success for me. That is correct.
It looks like 3 successes and 2 advantages for me.
Okay, so that will put us, I will just write this in the chat real quick. We have PC slot followed by an NPC slot, followed by an NPC slot, followed by PC, followed by NPC, PC, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So that is what we have. We have PC, NPC, NPC, PC, NPC, PC, PC. So for the first PC slot, it's like a wrap there.
ICP?
That's right. Sorry, chat's getting me. That would bring us to the PC slot. So somebody gets to pick who they want to go first.
Hmm.
Who was driving? Who was driving the vessel?
That would be... what are my minions' names?
Oh, yeah,
Well-
you had minions. We had minions.
Yeah, and I think we also destroyed one of the masts on the ship, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so one of the masts right now is damaged and not really going to work very well, I guess.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't completely like broken or anything. It was
No,
just
not
like
quite, but it was
damaged badly.
definitely damaged. Yeah,
Nice.
and there's a big hole in the front where the
Right.
propulsion was going through. You're all on the boat, which is just below, I guess, the railing of
Yeah, the gunnel.
yeah, of the ship. Nicola is hanging off
Yeah.
down below.
I'm gonna throw out there that maybe Nicola needs to go first.
Yeah.
Or
Before we
someone
start-
helping, or someone
Or
Yeah, before we start performing dangerous aerial maneuvers.
you know what? Yeah, I think that Nicola's gonna try and hoist herself.
Come on, she has excellent finger strength.
She has a robotic arm. You'd think she wouldn't
Whoever
have
has
this
your
issue.
hand, watch your arm. She will crush it.
At this point, it's probably more the poor ship that's going to be damaged as she like crawls her way back in.
All right.
So you may make an athletics check.
All right. Come on. Let's do this.
I guess, sorry, against difficulty, it would be 2 purple for this. And because the storm has come up and you're now being buffeted, add a setback die.
Mm-hmm. And that is a
black one.
Black. I got 3 successes. Haha.
Perfect. So you haul yourself up onto the ship. You can describe how that looks.
All you can see are one human hand and one robotic clockwork hand holding on the gunnel of this small ship, and then you slowly see Nicola's head as she heaves herself up and over. And as she does so, thanks for the help. Really appreciate it. As she kind of rolls over the gunnel into the base of the ship on her back.
Perfect.
Total faith in you, my dear.
And as she climbs into the ship, from the other ship, a couple of shots rang out. And they are... I need a D4. That will be against Bronson. So the shots are going against you. What do you have any ranged defense at this point?
I don't think so. No, I have 0 on defense, both. And I think the only way for me to get any defense is with my sword out, and that's only to melee anyway, so. Nada.
So what we're left with is 4 successes, 1 I want to say disadvantage, but that's not the word. 1 threat against you. So you can decide what the threat's going to be, but they are doing this bullet as it hits you is going to do 9 points of damage as it pierces you, minus your soak.
Right. Okay, so the threat is against me, or it's something that they incur?
They incur, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can decide what.
But I get to choose how it's spent. Okay. Spending. Suffer 1 strain. Lose the benefits of a prior maneuver. I don't think they took a maneuver. So let's say that they suffered a strain. Maybe the flash powder was packed too tight. So they put too much of it in there, and it flared up whenever they shot. So it kind of gave them like a little bit of a minor burn or something on their back hand. I don't know if it was a pistol or a rifle, but
yeah, that's perfect. So they will take, and because of how it works, they're like they don't actually take strain damage when they're like a minion or
oh right, okay,
a nemesis or a rival. So this actually is damage that goes against them. So the flash powder actually has burnt them, and they've taken a point of damage. You bet.
Take it, sucker. But I've got 9 damage I've got to deal with, so I have a soak of 4, so that means 5 damage goes somewhere on my strain.
Goes against your wounds. So
wounds. Okay.
So you count those up. So I don't know if you had any wounds from last time.
I did.
Yeah. So you add to that.
Ooh. I'm getting low, boys and girls. I don't know what that means.
Get low, get low.
Limbo. How low can you go? All right.
Okay. That actually takes us to the next PC slot. You don't know what the other NPC slot did.
You're up, Charlie.
So I open up my coat and reveal the gun holster that I now have with the gun that Mr. Fisk gave me. I pull it out and I fire. Am I ranged, I believe?
Yes, you'd be at ranged. Boy, we haven't played this in a while, have we?
Just a month.
And no other games in between. No other systems.
My excuse is that I am old and I have slept since then.
So I believe it'll just be
2, 3.
2 difficulty. Yeah, 2 purple. And who are you aiming at? I'm assuming you're aiming at
the guy that fired at Nicola.
Okay.
Boy. So I have 2 threats, but 4 successes.
Okay, so you have succeeded in shooting the guy that you wanted to. You were using a pistol?
Yes.
Yeah, so then the damage is 6 plus any of the additional successes. So you got 4 successes, so that would be 9 damage total that you're going to do. And you take 2 threat. Okay, so you can describe to me how this bullet kills the guy you are aiming for.
So this guy, he's like up to the railing with his gun over the side, and I think I see his foot like peeking between the slats, and I like shoot through the bottom of his foot, and as he like goes to like lift his foot, he like center balances over this railing, so he kind of like falls towards us.
So with your threats, what's happened is as you were taking aim and shooting this guy so perfectly, you actually were really, really close to where Argus was standing. In fact, terribly close. And he's slightly deafened from the sound of this gun going off. So he has a setback die on his next action.
Sorry, mate. I don't usually get these.
Okay, and that brings us to NPC slot. So just at this point, as this battle is getting tense, shots are being fired, there's this humongous bright light that lights up the sky, and this loud crack, almost exactly at the same second, and it hits that somewhat broken mast, completely obliterates it. It shatters, wood kind of goes flying everywhere. You hear some screams from up top the deck there. And something comes through this. Oh, he's gone. He just left. We lost him.
God damn the man.
He did the man, and he's gone. And as the mast is is obliterated, you also see that there's this darker area in the sky, and it's not really supposed to be there, and something comes through. And I need each of you to make a discipline check. Difficulty 4.
So that would be 2 purple dice, 1 red?
No, 4 purple dice.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll have to,
Yeah. Any setbacks or anything like that?
At this point, no. Straight 4 purples versus your discipline. So Nicola, you fail 2 fail and 3 threat. Two fail 4 threat.
A lot of threat. I had a lot of fails.
Okay, so let me see
We
if I'm
didn't
reading this
see
right.
this thing.
so Nicola, 2
Hey,
fail,
Robert.
2 threat. Charlie, you got 2 fail, 3 threat? No, 3 fail, 3 threat. Okay. Argus, you just have 3 threat? Okay.
Yes,
Okay, so
This is going to be great.
this is going to be wonderful. Okay, so the 3 of you, not Argus, or actually, and Bronson and Argus. This does not describe you. So this is describing both Nicola and Charlie. You guys are terrified. Whatever you saw, this thing scares the shit out of you. And all you want to do now is get away from it. You are, for all intents and purposes, wanting to flee in terror. You need to spend your next turn doing nothing but trying to get away from this thing that you've just seen. This includes basically taking no actions. They'll all be downgraded into maneuvers to move. Nobody failed. So the other 2 of you, you are also afraid of what just came through, but not nearly as much as your 2 compatriots. You are disturbed, you're unnerved, and you will be what we consider disoriented for the rest of this encounter.
What does that entail?
So that means, I believe it means you have like a setback die against anything that you are. I have too many things open. There it is. Yeah, so you will add a setback die to all checks that you make for the remainder of this encounter. Okay, and that brings us to the next PC slot.
that would be Mr. Sheffley. I don't have a firearm. I am, if I remember correctly, I am right by the railing where Marsalis and Nico are bringing up the flying dinghy, right?
Yeah, I believe we left off that you actually have just got in. So you are in, like everybody's actually now in the boat.
Oh, we are in the, okay.
Yeah.
I will look up at the sky. Is there a way for me to, do I recognize what's up there? Being able to keep my composure, can I recognize what this is?
So what you see, you are all afraid, right? Okay. How do I share here? So Argus and even Bronson, this is what you see. The other 2 of you, we'll get to what you see in a little bit. So you see this winged creature. You've never seen anything like this before your entire life, which is why you're unnerved, you're disoriented. This thing is black, She almost kind of blends in with these clouds that are swirling, like that are around you. She seems wispy and yet solid at the same time. And you notice that there are 4 more with her, not as big, but you'd say at least along the same species, if you will, as her. And they are all around you attacking the ship.
Argus would lay a hand on Marcellus's shoulder, gripping it a little tighter than he intends to. Bring us down below the ship. Do try to stay out of their field of vision.
Okay, I would like you to make a discipline check for him. So it'll also be on 4 purple dice, but he will have 2 green and 1 yellow.
All right. Oh, woohoo. Okay. And it's 4. Okay, so I have 5 threats, 4 successes, and 1 advantage.
So he succeeded. He got no fails?
Of course he did.
Well, there you go. So it's a good thing you brought him with you. So he is extremely steadfast. It's almost like he knows what he's doing. He's going to actually get an additional boost die to his next roll because he is so centered. Basically, a lot of adrenaline is rushing through him right now that it's being channeled into composure and action more than fear. So yeah, you can have him do what you want him to do.
Excellent. So the smaller vessel would dip below the being even with the deck and try to stay with the hull going under the ship before we try to descend and get away from what's about to happen to these poor unfortunate souls.
So you're trying to basically hide under the bigger ship?
Yes, we are definitely trying to stay out of the field of vision of whatever that thing is.
Okay. So I'm going to need a drive check for that. We actually didn't make his character. So does anybody here have drive on their character sheet? If not, we'll just...
I'm not seeing... Oh, did I? I may need to open up the PDF of my character sheet and see if I actually changed it. I thought I did. I don't have drive, but I have operating.
Okay.
Is that different?
Yeah, it's different. So
Okay.
Operating is for the bigger vessels. Drive would be for the smaller vehicles. So
Yeah, I don't even have that on my sheet. So.
I would say, because this is his kind of line of work, we'll give him 1 green, 2 yellows. The difficulty for this is going to be a 3.
3 purples?
Yeah. Plus a setback because of the weather.
Is the setback the black or the red?
The black.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he also gets a blue, right?
Do I?
Because he...
Oh,
Didn't
yeah,
you say he also got a blue?
And he gets a blue because of succeeding on the fear check. Yeah.
This is a lot of dice.
Cool feeling.
Yes, it is. I like these dice. It's one of my favorite parts of this system is how this helps narrate the actions. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 successes, 2 advantage, 2 threats, 2 fails.
Okay, so those all count. So you're left with 2 successes. Plain and
Yes.
simple.
Plain and
So-
simple, yes.
Yeah. So you can describe how he manages to fly the ship below, because he does succeed and straight across.
Okay, so yeah, we drop pretty quickly. And as we're going down, I guess we line up where the cannon portholes are. When we're hit by a gust of wind that knocks the entire vessel into the side of the ship, kind of jostling us, freaking us out a little bit. We bounce off that and fall below the hull and even ourselves up with the keel right below before we start to descend back down into the canyon where our ship is awaiting us.
Perfect. And that brings us to the last PC slot.
Fisk had been waiting with his blunderbuss at the ready, kind of leveled towards the gunwale that's closest to where we departed, waiting for someone to come to the edge to try to peek over and shoot, to try to get a shot in first. But now, as it seems like we've put enough distance between us and the ship itself, he's going to relax a little bit and just try to hold on.
You can see these creatures from where you're at. Not the main one, but there are a couple others around if you wanted. Like, you do see them.
So, okay, so what he'll do then is he'll shift his attention with his blunderbuss towards one of them. He's not going to fire yet. He wants to see if if they're going to be able to escape without being detected first. But if it looks like one of them is going to start approaching, he's going to blast the motherfucker from the sky.
Hey, gotcha. That'll bring us to, so I'll put ready, PC slot number 1, top of the order.
So is Nicola still afraid? Is that for the whole encounter or just?
That is for the whole of your next turn.
So this turn. Okay.
Yeah.
So Nicola, being out of sight directly from this thing is not enough for her. She needs to ensure the only way she can ever hope to get away without directly jumping overboard. With this thing, it's set up and there's kind of benches. Is there like an under thing where people's feet go, I guess?
Yeah, imagine like a rowboat.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So she's going to take whatever bits of cloth or fabric she can find, and she is going to try and just make herself as unseen as possible while muttering incoherently to herself and not really acknowledging anyone else or any of the situation that's going on.
Perfect. And I'm going to say too, while you are burying yourself in here, what you are seeing, what you saw, what you felt is like you didn't even get a flash of the creature. All you saw was, and it felt so real to you, you see yourself lying in bed and you're sick and you feel absolutely terrible. There's pain racking through your body. Nothing feels like it should. And you overhear somebody saying that they can't be saved. They're going to lose their legs and their arms, and there's nothing they can do. And that's what's caused you so much terror right now. And you are cowering underneath your blankets.
Yeah, and she's brought back to that, and so she's hoping that these blankets will give her comfort, and you can hear her muttering, just, not again, please, not again, not again.
That brings us to the first NPC slot. So one of the creatures actually sees your boat and sees it disappear around the edge. So they are aware. Bronson, because you read it in action, you notice that they see you. Like they are looking at you, and you know that this one knows that you're there. But before you can really do anything, Nicola, you start to feel the blankets that are around you start to tighten. They start to wrap themselves around you on their own and start to constrict. I need you to make, I want to say, what is it? Resilience? A resilience check, please. Purple 2.
I got 3 success and 1 threat.
Okay, so you managed to kind of pull yourself away from them. I mean, I'll let you describe how you're going to do that, but you've managed to stop them from constricting on you somehow. You're not going to take any damage from this. You did said how many threat?
1.
1. You will take a strain for this.
So she is, I imagine that she is still having this hallucination where she is in the hospital bed. She hears the doctors beginning to speak, and she is trying to hide under the blankets as she did back then. But then she feels the arms of the attendant, the doctor's helpers, begin to restrict her wrists and her legs, and she hears the doctor, "We must begin the operation now." And with that, she just screams no, and she is going to fight these holds against her, and thus these blankets. So she's just kind of kicking and convulsing on the floor on the ship.
Right. That brings us to the next NPC slot. From your vantage, or actually, sorry, we could finish this NPC slot. Bronson, this one does start to fly towards you, rapidly closing the distance. So they would be about medium range from you if you wanted to do your that readied action or not.
I would, yes. All right. So this would be ranged. So it's agility based. So I have 1 of each. And what is the difficulty?
So it will be 2 purple,
True
plus
purple. A setback because
your
of the storm.
setback because of the storm, and the setback because of you being disoriented.
Ooh, okay. This doesn't bode overly well.
Don't forget, we have story points. I should have mentioned that at the beginning, right? You guys there's 4 story points in your player pool, and there's 1 in the GM pool at this point.
And cashing in 1 of those for a roll lets you add a blue boost die?
It upgrades 1 of your dice. So it'll take 1 of your green dice and up it to a yellow.
Then if everybody is okay with it, I'm going to use a story point now. Try to shoot 1 of these things before it gets close.
Do it.
Do it. Do it now before it gets to the chopper. Okay. Oh, God, that's a lot of crosshairs. Okay. Crosshairs are threats that cancel out advantages. So those go away. Okay, so I have 2 successes and 3 threats.
Okay, so you managed to shoot, and you'll do an extra damage. I don't know. I can't remember what the blunderbuss does.
Okay, the blunderbuss has damage of 8.
Okay, so you do total of 9 points of damage.
Good. That sounds like a lot.
Okay.
So yeah, he kind of waits till this thing gets within range, and
you could describe how you actually kill it. How it.
Oh,
yeah,
awesome, even better. Okay, and this is the technology for guns is flintlock.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so he readies his blunderbuss and waits, and I think there's even like this moment where we see the camera kind of like pointing straight at Fisk as he's kind of got this blunderbuss kind of pointed straight at this thing with this kind of slightly belled end on it, and we can see down the barrel for just a second, and it's like this grape shot, this haphazard mixture of like broken pieces of silverware and things of that nature that are like just iron, kind of all shoved in there as projectile. And it comes back kind of along the length of his gun, and we see him looking down the sights, and he pulls a trigger, and that piece of flint comes down and strikes the plate. There's that flash with the delay, and then there's an explosion. This stuff just comes out in this wide cone of shrapnel that's propelled with fire and smoke. It tears through all of the rain and rips through the wings of this creature, just kind of just shredding them the way that it would a sail. And this thing just starts to spiral further and further down, and she collides with one of the rocky spires. It's like sticking up out of the features down below us, and it just collides and kind of bounces off.
Perfect. And as she's falling down, she's emitting this shriek, this unearthly sound that you've never heard before. It grates on your ears. It's so piercing. It almost like it's like your eardrums are tearing with the sound that she's making as she's plummeting. That brings us to the second NPC slot. Her shriek has, what's the word I'm looking for? Has alerted the rest of them, and they converge. Oh, I meant to say also, sorry, Bron, we're getting this. Your 3 threats, that blast of your blunderbuss, you weren't quite as probably standing quite as you were hoping to, or just at that moment, the boat rocks, but whatever happens, you fall on your butt and you are prone in the bottom of the boat as all the rest of these are converging. And there are 3 left of the smaller ones, and then the one larger one. And the smaller ones are they attack basically all of you. But we will say, Charlie, what is your, do you have any defense?
Defense? And I have melee defense if my sword's out. Which it's not.
It's just not. Okay, so there's no defense. Me too. So one is flies down, and her feet are like claws. There are these razor sharp appendages that coming at you.
So I'm already sitting really bad. So
she completely misses you, though.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah,
I have like 3 points left that I can use.
It's completely washed out. There's 0 on both both things. They all canceled out. So she makes this flyby attack and just misses you. Maybe grabs your bit of cloth and rips it from your body. But for all intents and purposes, nothing hits you. The others are the same as they dive attack. They're not close enough to get anybody, but they're all there. The larger one, however, sees you, Bronson, prone on the boat, and she just shrieks that same sound that goes right through you, and all of a sudden, everything around you kind of erupts. The wood that you're lying on, spikes just appear, and they try to embed themselves in you as they fling.
Fucking savage. I love it.
And I'm going to use a story point to
really screw you up, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Are you close
love
to
it.
dying? Well, we're gonna seal your fate.
Bring it.
Yeah, so that is 3 successes with 1 advantage. So you are going to take 6 points of damage minus your soak from these basically bits of the boat just kind of morph into these long spears, and they just fly at you from all directions. A couple of them spear into you. Maybe a couple of them like grab your clothing, and now you're almost tied to the ground. You could still break free. It wouldn't be that hard. It's just got your clothing, but some of them found their mark. I said 1 advantage. We'll say you suffer 1 strain from that, from basically the shock of it all happening. And that brings us to a PC slot.
Are we staying in the same order we did before, or do we?
You guys can
I mean,
choose.
I'm running away. So if you want to do something to...
I mean, there's nowhere really to run, though. We're in a small...
That doesn't really matter to me. I need to get the fuck away from whatever the fuck that is. This thing next to me. I'll go. I'll run. I'm going to run up to your boy, and I'm going to look him in the face, and I'm like, you need to get us the fuck out of here right now, or I will lose my shit.
Just grab him by the collar.
And that's my turn.
Drive!
So, Charlie, what you are also seeing, because this has affected you severely, when that you first saw that kind of crack in the sky, you immediately saw a huge mirror. And in this mirror was yourself.
That's terrifying.
And as you looked at this, the self you were seeing starts to fade, to disappear. All your features start to just go to nothing. Like the eyebrows disappear. The eyes, all of a sudden, there's only one eye staring at you. The other one is just flat surface. And as you're watching it, the entire image is just becoming...
I almost picture like melting wax.
Yes, yeah.
Like my features are just like melting away. I'm that guy from
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Ark of the Covenant. I'm melting.
Yeah, so when you are talking to Argus, this is what you are seeing as well.
I'm seeing the same thing?
No, Charlie is seeing this.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood that for a second.
So I think after I like grab this guy by his lapel and like shout at him, it like the shouts kind of fade into whimpers as I like hold my face.
Maybe as he whips his head to look at you as you yell at him, like drips of melting face fly at you.
I hope that's not real. I hope that's in my head. I don't want to be melting.
So that brings us to the next NPC slot. And from this, you just hear screams from the ship above you. And every once in a while, a body will just kind of like be jumping off the edge as far as you can tell. You don't know. They're screaming and they'll fall, or they're falling around you, the odd sailor from the ship above. And that brings us to a PC slot.
Okay, yeah, I would shove Marcellus off the wheel or the rudder steer and shove him towards Charlie there. By God, man, hold him down before he does himself in. I want to draw my sword. And if any of these things even come close to swooping in, I would like to make a melee attack. Otherwise, I can't do anything to these guys.
Sorry, I just muted myself. There's definitely the one that's on Bronson right now that would be within reach of your sword if you wanted to.
Oh, absolutely. So, where is my sheet? Yeah, this one's the updated one. I need to print out the updated one. So, Mr. Sheffley has a 3 in melee. So that would be what? That would completely take over the green, right?
So melee is brawn, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's your brawn rating?
I have a 2 in brawn.
Okay, so you would have 3 dice, 2 of which will be yellow.
Okay, cool.
Whether you're also disoriented, right, from the fear, so you have a setback die from that. And due to the weather, you all have 1 setback die from that because of the boat jostling and the rain pelting you, etc.
Didn't I succeed on the fear, or did I miss something?
You failed, but you didn't fail poorly.
Okay. Oh, okay. I got you. I just didn't completely piss my pants. Okay. So, after everything, 1 success. 3 success, 2 threats.
Sorry, 3 success and 2 threats? Or
yes.
That's the
3
full?
success. Yep.
Okay, so you are hitting with your sword. So you will do an additional 2 damage because you got an additional 2 successes on that roll. Plus
Excellent.
whatever it does.
Sorry for the screaming kid. Hunter is excited. Okay, so the sword does +3 damage, then you said +2 because of the 2 successes? So 5 total?
Plus your brawn. Right?
+2. So 7 total.
7 total. So 5.
I will be well versed within the Genesys system at some point, I promise.
And then you said you had 2 threat?
Yes, 2 threat.
2 threat. So what's going to happen in that one is she immediately flies away out without so she's no longer in range of anybody else's attack at this point. And that will bring us to the last PC slot, unless you wanted to do something else. You have a maneuver left if you wanted.
Yeah, well, there's nowhere really to maneuver. I imagine that Sheffley would come up and snatch her by one of her claw legs and shove the sword into her belly and throw her off the side of the ship away.
Okay, yep. And she manages, in that process, you try to throw her off the edge. Well, she flies up and now she's out of range from your sword. And that would bring us to the last PC slot.
So Fisk is down in the bottom of this boat. His face and forearms and the coat that he wears are completely and totally just peppered with these enormous splinters that are kind of supernaturally elongated and sharp. And he's bleeding from several wounds. He's got bruising that's already starting to appear. He's going to kind of roll over and kind of try to take stock of what's going on, realizing that these things are no longer like barraging him. He's going to look and see one of these creatures. Is there one that is within medium range?
Yes. Yeah. The one that Argus had just stabbed would be within medium range. Actually, they all would be at this point. There would be all around you. So there's 3 left of the smaller ones and the larger one. All of them were within medium range.
But it's fairly obvious that this one that just got attacked by Argus is damaged.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so once Bronson kind of zeroes in on that fact, he's going to reach within his coat and pull the flintlock pistol that he has there. He's going to kind of extend his arm up from the bottom of the boat, kind of up at this creature, and kind of level, wait, take a big breath, and then slowly exhale. And as he does so, he's going to squeeze the trigger to fire.
Okay. So you have the difficulty would be 2. You also get a setback because you're firing at this creature who's actually harder to hit than you would think. So they have a defensive one. I forgot on that one.
Okay.
Before. Plus you have your setback from being disoriented and your setback.
And then I'll have a third from the weather.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll have to re-roll one of the black ones. All right. Okay, let's see here. Those cancel out. I will. I'll get accustomed to this at some point. All right. So those cancel out those. And I can re-roll this one. Okay, those cancel out those. Oh, joy. Okay, so I have 1 failure and 1 threat remaining.
Okay, so you do not manage to hit her. With this, your shot goes wide, and we'll say the act of being like pinned down and trying to do all this in one turn has strained you, so you'll take an additional strain. That brings us back to the top of the order with a PC slot. And yeah, you don't have to be in the same order. It could be anybody. For those 2 of you who were fleeing in terror, you've kind of somewhat composed yourself as the visions have abated. You will now find yourself with the disoriented property as well. So you will have a setback die on each of your rolls.
I imagine that Nicola, when you have a nightmare and you sit upright, bolt, when you sit bolt upright and your eyes are wide, your breathing is labored. I feel like that's what happened with Nicola. She was writhing around, screaming on the floor, but then all of a sudden she sits up bolt right, looking around as if she's just seeing what lays before her for the first time. And she looks to everyone. Can she determine who is looking the most injured?
Of your people or the enemies?
Of my people.
Yes, I would say you could probably take a quick gander at your comrades and find out how bloodied they look at this moment. I'll let you guys describe who then. I'm not sure who it is the most hurt, if it's Bronson or Charlie.
Well, Bronson's going to the bathroom, so it's going to be Charlie.
Perfect.
So immediately, I would think that Nicola, and if it's okay, if you would allow this, she always brings some sort of rudimentary medical supplies with her, being a surgeon.
Absolutely. I think you also even took I believe you said last time that you took some of those vials that you had made. Those
I did. Yeah. Those healing vials.
Yeah.
Yes. So she's quickly going to thrust one at Charlie. Here, Charlie, drink this, please. And just let me take a quick look at your wounds. And she's gonna start like patting him down without even waiting for him to answer her.
I mean, you were the one that stitched me together the first time, so what's the difference? You would find that like my clothes are pretty much sopping wet with blood. I have taken multiple gunshots. I think I was stabbed, maybe. I'm very hurt. So
Okay, so she is going to give you this vial, and then she is going to try and do some sort of medical check to help heal wounds. If that...
Yes, I am just trying to find what we just said on that that vial that you made. I am.
I think I might have it here. Oh, no, I don't. Awesome. Good job, Megan.
Okay, so you can definitely make your check. We'll get that. That's easier to find.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do the... And then because I have physician, when I make the check, I can also heal you 1 additional strain.
So perfect. Much better organized. Just 16. Okay, so current wounds are equal to more than half of the wound threshold. Is that currently what we're at, Charlie?
I'm at 8 out of 11.
Okay, so this will be an average check, Nicola.
Okay.
So it'll be 2 purples that you'll be rolling against.
And one setback as well.
Setback is you're disoriented. Yeah, you still haven't.
That's the black, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm making a medicine.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Oops. Oops.
Actually, so you actually gave him the painkiller or the potion beforehand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So he's going to be able to take it on his turn. That was what I was kind of
okay.
thinking.
I got you. Yeah. So you're doing your medicine on your turn. Okay.
Yeah. All right. That is 1 success and 4 advantage.
Okay. So you, Charlie, get healed 1 wound. So 1 wound is gone, and 4
and 1 strain as well.
Yeah,
So 1
plus
additional.
1 additional. So you rolled 4 advantage. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So then a total of 5 strain would come off your character as well.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm a little bit more chill.
And so when you, just so you know, when you take that potion, you will immediately gain 5 or heal 5 wounds. Okay. So that brings us to NPC slot. The ship that's above you, that's been kind of sheltering you a little bit from this, like the most of the storm. All of a sudden seems to start coming alive a little bit. The ropes that have been dangling around the sides start to turn into almost like tentacles, if you will, and they lash out at you in the boat. This time it's actually going for Nicola. We'll see if they hit. So that is a success with a whole bunch of advantage. So what's happened, Nicola, is these ropes from this other ship they wrap themselves around your arms and your legs, and they basically tie you. And you are in the process of administering to Charlie, and then you find your arms, just these ropes wrapped around them, and then you're basically spread eagled as your arms are pulled behind your body, and you are effectively ensnared, and it will be a hard athletics check on your turn to try to break free.
Just a question: is this the ropes from our ship or the ropes from
The ship,
other ship?
the ship above you. Yeah.
So I'm not in the ship anymore. Is that?
You're still in your boat. There's a potential
Okay.
yes that you could maybe not remain so.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So Nicola's ensnared. Okay, and that brings us to the other NPC slot and the 3 creatures around you. They will, let's see how many. They are coming in for you guys. There is Nicola's restrained. So there's 3 of you, 3 of them, one on each of you. Do any of you have melee defense?
Argus does.
Argus does. Okay. So I will do Argus first.
Giggity.
3. Three successes and everything else cancels. So this one's claws, and even her face, like you didn't notice before, but it's almost like shark's teeth. This rows upon rows of these sharpened spikes, if you will, in her mouth, and she tries and she bites at you as well. So she actually does a critical hit on you. So first of all, you are going to take 6 points of damage, reduced by your soak. And this bite is vicious. So I need you to roll on the critical injury chart and add 10% to your die. So this is a D100.
So would I roll a percentile dice? I have them laying around. Okay.
Yeah, a percentile die and add 10 to it.
Add 10 to it.
Yes.
Okay.
So you want to roll low.
I did not. With the plus 10 is an 89.
Ooh, okay. So you have suffered, I don't know the name of it. It's called, it's a level 2 severity. You need to mark this down until we figure out the name, because it'll take an additional die to heal versus the other one. But all of your skill checks from now on are increased by 1 difficulty until this injury is healed. Nine.
You're muted, Jason.
Sorry, I was typing. Didn't notice. I'm writing this down on my sheet. Did you say -1 or -2?
No, you're so when you do a skill check, the difficulty will be increased by 1. So
okay.
Yeah, by 1 die. So like if it's average, it automatically becomes a hard challenge. And it's called compromised. So when so if you want to write that down, you're compromised. It'll be easier to find for healing later. Okay, and then the others of you. That one is a complete miss on Bronson. That one is a success with one additional, just one success because nothing actually, sorry, total of 2 successes, so 1 additional damage, but everything else cancels. So you will take 5 points of damage, Charlie, minus your soak.
I have surpassed my wound threshold. What happens?
So you would fall unconscious and would roll on the critical injury chart.
I need polyhedral dice. Goddamn it. 1 second.
So while he's doing that, we can actually go on to the PC slot if you want. Somebody can.
And I'd add 10 to it?
No, not on this
Or
one.
is that-
It didn't work. Yeah.
All right, well, I'm at 40.
Okay, so 40 is called Stinger. Increases the difficulty of your dex check by 1.
So what did this chick do to me? She bit me?
Yeah, she clawed at you and bit you. Just like
So
the other
I
one.
think as like I'm reaching for Nicola, trying to stop these ropes and like vial in hand, and she just overtakes me from the side.
Yeah, kind of.
Munches on me.
And
Maybe
everything
she
that
like
Nicola
bites my
just did.
neck, so I'm now like, yeah, Nicola, I failed you.
Nicola, you see this just as you finally heal, and then all of a sudden your hands are thrust behind you, and he collapses in front of you with this thing on him. And that brings us to a PC slot.
There you go. So Bronson, not doing well. He's kind of like stabilizing himself as best he can on the side of the gunnel here. Is going to stand up, kind of shakily, and if he can, he's going to pull this almost like extended sword hilt. It's a little bit thicker than it should be, and he pulls it out of his jacket, and with kind of a exaggerated flick of his wrist, the blade unfolds out of it and snaps into place. And he's going to move over to where Nicola is. And I don't know, can I only attack one rope at a time? Or is it possible to target multiple ropes?
In this case, it's one creature, so you could
Okay.
slice through them all. Yeah.
Then that's what he's going to attempt to do, is kind of, use his offhand to kind of put it like on the upper part of her back and almost like bend her at the waist to kind of get her away from his sword swipe, and is just going to swing kind of above her back and try to sever as many of these ropes as he can.
So I'm going to consider this a maneuver move because these are just ropes and it takes no real skill for you to do this. It'll just take a little time. So this can be considered your maneuver.
Okay. Was standing up also a maneuver?
Yes, it would be.
Okay.
So you could take, if you wanted to be able to do an action, you could take 2 strain to do one of those maneuvers.
I will, for sure. Okay.
And that would leave you with an action to do.
Oh, excellent. Okay. None of these things are close enough to hit with a sword, right?
Oh, yes, there would be. Yeah. The one
Oh,
that's
perfect.
on Charlie right there.
All right. Charlie's the one that just went down, right?
Yeah. And this thing is like munching on him.
Then Bronson's going to step up behind it and attempt to just like drive this same sword straight into this thing's back.
Okay.
You must stop what you're doing right now.
So it would be a difficulty 2. So 2 purple dice. No defense on this one. So then it's just your disoriented die and 1 for the weather. So you have 2 setbacks and 2 purple, and it's against your melee.
Okay. And my melee is based off of my brawn.
Yeah, and there you guys have story points. Don't forget those.
Right. We still have 4, right?
You have 4 again. Yeah.
You cashed back in the one that I had turned in.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's correct.
I need to re-roll one of these yellow already as it is. Okay. So I'm good. I think. Okay, let's see. Doobie. Those are going to cancel each other out. Okay. And these cancel those. All right. And then I need to re-roll one of these again. Okay. So 2 failures and 2 advantages.
Okay, so you do not manage to hit this creature. However, you have 2 advantage that you could spend.
Yeah. Okay. So with Charlie being unconscious, is Baron still going to be making rolls?
He is effectively out of the combat unless he gets healing at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's no equivalent of like death saving throws or anything like that. Okay.
No.
So instead of giving the blue to him, then I would like to give the black a setback die to the creature that's attacking him.
Okay. Okay. That brings us to the next PC slot.
Argus would like to fight off this thing that's biting on him. So I'd like to make a melee attack with my sword, if I can.
Absolutely. So 2 purple, and then the 2 setback dice, 1 from the weather, 1 from the disorient.
Still 2 yellow and 1 green for the attack, though, yeah?
Yeah, if that's what you've got, yeah. And you can, like, there's story points too.
Now on this roll, the difficulty, does that turn one of these purple into something else, or the black into something else?
If you were to use a story point?
No. Just from being compromised. I'm trying to figure out how that works.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I forgot. What was the compromise as a difficulty? So what it is now you add 1 more. So you would have 3 purple instead of
3 purple. Gotcha. Yeah. Sorry. Just trying to figure out what it all means. Yahtzee. Okay. This is not good. Believe everything is canceled out. So I have 3 successes. What's the starburst again? With the circle?
So that's called a triumph. It counts as a success, and it's an additional bonus as well.
Okay, I got one of those.
Okay.
That's as good as it gets, because now I have 6 failures and 2 threats.
Okay, so you'll end up with 2 failure, 2 threats, and 1 triumph. Okay, so you do not manage to hit the creature that you're trying to do. And in the process, I would say you bump into Nicola. And so she's going to get a setback on her next action that she goes for. But the triumph, you get to say what that.
Okay, I missed with the sword strike. I guess it's maneuvered out of the way, but maybe I've able to sling this thing down into the boat to be surrounded by us?
Okay, and did you want to increase the difficulty of its next check?
Is there a way to give Bronson some kind of advantage on his melee attack?
You could upgrade his ability of his next check if you wanted to.
I'd like to do that.
Okay. So what you effectively did is you bumped into Nicola, you knocked her down a little bit, so she's got to have a little bit of an issue fighting next time. But you've also caused this creature, in trying to evade your move, to forget that Bronson's kind of there, and Bronson will have an increased ability on his next check.
All right.
So basically an upgraded die. So if you had 2, you'd now have 3, that kind of thing.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so that brings us to the last PC slot, which I believe would be Charlie's, who is unconscious. So that takes us back to the top PC slot. So first PC slot, and it can be any 3 of you.
So, Nicola. So she's free from the ropes, but she's kind of been knocked a little bit.
Yeah, you're kind of, you got jostled a little bit, so you'll have a setback die on the next thing you try to do.
Okay.
There is that potion that you gave to Charlie. Charlie still kind of has it.
Yep.
She shove it down his gullet.
Yeah, she is just gonna pour it down his throat, open his mouth, make sure he's propped up so he doesn't choke, and
yeah. So this is a maneuver. Yeah. So there's no dice roll. So Bronson immediately would get heal 5 wounds. Oh, sorry, not Bronson. Charlie.
And at the same time, she wants to. She wants to take the second one or another one of these, because I think she brought a couple, because we made like 10 of them.
Yeah.
So she's going to take another one, and she's not going to take any chances. She wants to go up to Bronson, and I can take strain for this, right, with maneuvers.
Yeah, so you can downgrade your action to a maneuver, or if you wanted to be able to do an action still, then you would take 2 strain to do the second maneuver.
Okay, well, she wants to try. Okay, I don't know how this is going to work. She wants to try and force Bronson to drink the other thing right now. So, how?
That would be another maneuver. So,
Okay.
Unless he's going to stop you from doing it, in which case it would be an action.
Are you going to resist my forceful?
No.
Maybe like at the very, very beginning, and then he realizes that it's you, and yes,
Yeah,
like a baby bird.
She's gonna do that.
So Bronson would also get 5 wounds healed.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you wanted to take the 2 strain, you could have your action. Otherwise, you don't have to take 2 strain, and that would be the end.
Okay. Nope. She isn't going to do that. So that's the end.
Okay. That brings us to the NPC slot. So there are these creatures around. Let's deal with them. So you gave a setback die on the one that was on Charlie. So that one would have 2 setbacks, 1 from the weather. Charlie, do you have any melee defense? No. Okay.
Certainly made itself a problem, this assessment, is my lack of melee defense.
Okay, that was a much poorer roll. So there is all the failures cancel out the successes. And we are left with 3 threat. How you may spend those against this creature. 3 threats. So you could give yourself a significant advantage, cause this creature to fall prone, which is odd.
I think it's like slipped on my blood and now is like mildly prone next to me.
Okay. Yeah. So this creature that
I've leaked out onto the boat we're in at this point.
So it's attacking you and trying to eat, basically it just bit your neck and all this stuff. And as it goes to try to do this again, the interference with Nicola shoving this potion down your throat causes it to fall back in its attack. And you're right, slips on the blood that you've pooled and is effectively prone in the boat.
About to kill this thing so hard.
Yeah. So then there's there was one on Bronson. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3. So everything cancels but one advantage. So again, misses you, Bronson. But we'll give a boost die to the next NPC slot. So that'll be the bigger creature. And then the final one. Manages 1 success. So this one will be on Argus. This one attacked you, and you will take 4 damage minus your soak.
Okay.
And that brings us to the other NPC slot. This bigger creature lets out this loud scream again, and from the side of the ship above you, boards start to fly off, and as they're flying, they turn into more like spears, and they are coming at, let's see who, you, Argus.
I must be tasty.
You look tasty. You look dangerous, I think is what it is. Now, do you have any ranged defense?
I do not.
Okay. But the weather and... So that is 1 failure, but 1 triumph and 1 threat. So these spears do not do any damage. They kind of whistle past, scaring you. But what it's going to do is it's going to make your next attack, Argus, much more difficult. So it's going to increase the difficulty as you are trying to dodge these things, and the blood is pooling in the bottom of this boat. It's making it slippery. So that's going to be more difficult. But you get to spend, what did I say, 1 threat against this creature.
Mom needs a lighter, Dad. Mom needs a lighter.
Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Bring a threat to the big one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I've steered the boat a little closer to it, so that it brings us into range.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So now it's no longer away from you. You can
Charlie.
effectively attack it.
Charlie says, please God, no.
He's like, I didn't want that to happen. All right, brings us to PC slot.
I want this one. I'm on the thin line of consciousness and the eternity of death. So this thing that's prone next to me, I want to draw my sword and just hack it.
Okay, so 2 difficulty, so that's 2 purple. 1 setback die for the weather and the jostling of the ship. However, you're going to get a boost die because this creature is prone.
Excellent.
They have no melee defense, so
I'm pretty confident that like when I was downed, I was screaming. When I woke up, I was still screaming. This thing is laying next to me, and Nicola had to have removed my mask in order to dump this liquid down. So for a brief moment, whoever's in front of me, I almost imagine this is Argus or Bronson. You see the equivalent of like a Ken doll that some kid had melted with a magnifying glass. Like, I only have one good eye. My other eye is like half shut, skin kind of melted over. My cheek has holes in it through to the teeth. I'm missing teeth. Some teeth are simply just caps of metal. The scream is coming off as like a gurgling blood and like dying animal. And let's... Okay. So I have 2 success, 1 threat.
okay, what were you hitting this with? Your sword,
My
right?
sword, yeah.
Okay,
Oh, wait,
so-
I think I get bonuses for that? No. Damage plus 3?
yeah, so it'd be your brawn plus 3, and in this case, you have an additional success, so another +1. So
5 damage?
So 5 damage. So 3. So you can describe how you are killing this. And you said you also had how much? Like 1 threat or 2 threat?
1 threat.
1 threat. You can suffer a strain with this anguish that you're going through. It's taking everything that you...
Yeah,
your
I was
reserves
already
to-
like on the edge of dying as is. So like the energy that I just exerted is like I smash into this thing. What does its body feel like? Like, is it like flesh? Am I slicing into it? Is it chitinous? Am I like breaking it? It looks kind of insectoid. So
Yeah, so it's almost not quite what you would appear like. It looks kind of wispy and, like you said, insectoid. So you're expecting, something either like nothing there or hard. And in fact, it actually felt extremely fleshy and human almost. Like it was...
Then I mean, I'm not even like attempting to chop through it. It's like basically like there's like flayed chunks of flesh on the side of this thing's body as I have like hacked into it, and I'm panting and gory and not having a good time.
Perfect. That brings us to the next PC slot.
We're close enough to the big one that I can attack it, yeah?
Yes, you could attack it. It's outside your little boat here, so be wary of that. But yes, you can hit it from here.
Absolutely. I want to attempt to do just that. Okay. But I have 3 purple still. Yeah. Yeah, I would.
Not in this case. So normally it would be 2 purple, right? Plus you have your compromise, plus actually they gave you an additional difficulty. So you would be at 4 purple. However, one of those purples is a red. So you're at a red with 3 purple.
Ouch. Okay. This is fine. We're fine.
Yeah. You have story points. Right?
Yeah, I would like to very much use one of those.
Okay. So you can either downgrade one of like the red to a purple, or you can upgrade one of your green to a yellow. That is your choice.
I like to lift dangerously. I'm going to upgrade my green to a yellow.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. That's actually really great. Okay, so I have 2 successes and 4 advantages, no failures, no threats, nothing negative.
Okay, and what are you using as your weapon?
A sword, my saber.
Sword. And crit is, it says 2, right? Crit is a 2?
Yes.
Yeah, so you could spend 2 of those advantage if you want to deal a critical
Absolutely.
injury. Okay.
It's not even a question.
Okay, so you said you had 2 successes?
Yes, 2 successes, 4 advantage.
Okay, so you're going to deal your sword damage. So what? Your brawn plus 3 plus an additional 1 for a total of how many damage?
Plus 3 for the sword, plus 2 for the brawn, plus 3 for the melee.
Oh, 1 success. Right, is your brawn 2?
Yes, my brawn is 2.
2, then plus 3 for your sword, plus 1 for the additional success. So that's
Okay.
6. Okay.
6 altogether.
Okay.
Math
And
is hard.
math is hard. And you are forcing them to roll on the crit table. And you have 2 advantages left to spend.
I would like to. I can't use that to upgrade one of my compatriots' rolls, can I?
You can use it to give somebody a boost die.
Yes, I would like to do that.
And it can be anyone for 2.
We will give that to Nicola this time.
So Nicola has a boost. Okay. She rolled a 40 exactly. Increase the difficulty of the next check by 1. Okay. Difficulty. Okay. That brings us to the next PC slot. Who has not gone this round? Okay.
I have not yet.
Okay.
Okay, so Bronson just gets finished being kind of force-fed this potion and kind of nods at Nicola. And though he has one of these creatures kind of bearing down on him himself, he's going to turn to the one that's actually laid out in the bottom of the boat that is kind of wrestling around with Charlie.
That one's dead.
Oh, it is dead.
Yeah,
I had hacked
Charlie
that
killed it. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. I missed the fact that it had died from all that. That's good. So instead, then he will wheel around at the one that has been attacking him with this kind of switchblade sword in hand, and is going to kind of look it straight in the face with as much tenacity as he can muster. "You foul thing from the sky, you will never ever fly again." And he's going to attack, and I don't know if there's like a targeted attack, but I would like to specifically swing at this thing's wings.
Yes, you can do that. You can take the aim maneuver to do such.
Perfect. Hell yeah. I thought that was just a like a gun thing.
Yeah, no, you can use that. There's two things that you can do with that maneuver. And one is to give yourself a boost die. The other one is to target a specific
Oh, yes, sure enough.
body part.
Roll at 2 black die or 2 maneuvers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the difficulties are going to increase by 2 setback.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So you could target a specific body part. It would increase. You would get 2 black die on your roll, however. But you also have an ability increase from a previous thing. So you would have like one of your dice is upgraded as well in this case.
Okay. So my normal sword attack is okay, so my brawn is 4, my normal melee is 3, but if he upgraded one of my dice, then that sounds like I have 4 yellow dice,
Yes. Yep.
2 purple dice, and then 4 black dice.
Yes.
1 for the weather, 1 for being disoriented, and then the 2 for aiming at a specific body part.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. I'm getting the hang of it. Okay. Let's see. So I need to re-roll both of my yellow dice again and both of my black dice again. All right, what do we got so far? These are going to cancel out. Oh, nothing. Oh, okay. All right. So that's 2 successes thus far, but we'll see what the others do. Okay, that gets rid of successes there. And at least one of those. Okay, so I got a wash between successes and failures. 1 advantage and 1 triumph.
Did you count the triumph as a success?
I did not.
Okay, so that's
that's
success.
1 success.
Yep.
Okay.
So that makes it actually changes it from a fail to a success. You won't do any additional
perfect.
damage, but you will do your base damage of your weapon. So your weapon plus your brawn.
Okay. So that is 7 damage.
7, and you were going off the one that was on you. Okay.
Yes, I don't think it's been hurt yet.
This manages to kill it though, so you can describe that, and you still have a triumph as well that you can spend. Did you say you had threat or?
I'm sorry, I lost part of what you said.
Sorry, the triumph that you get to spend, and I wasn't sure if you had an advantage or a threat.
It was 1 advantage and 1 triumph.
Okay, so yeah, so you can. So you have an advantage to spend and a triumph to spend, and this creature, you can describe how you kill it.
Okay, so he turns around and kind of issues this threat, and then immediately delivers upon the threat, cutting not only through this thing's wings, but the weight of his swing, the anger that it carries with it, cutting through the supports of this thing's wings and straight into the back of its torso, severing whatever spine that it might have. And it kind of twitches and falls down into the bottom of the boat before kind of growing still. As far as the advantage and the triumph, do something vital. That sounds important. Do something vital. Can it be something that's vital but accidental?
Sure. Yeah. What do you mean?
So, like, I think as I strike this thing down, I kind of step back and accidentally hit the rudder control and like drive this boat. God, do we want to go closer?
Yes, we do.
Okay. All right. So like drive the front of this longboat like into the large ferry.
Okay. Like just kind of basically, yeah, you ram into her with the boat.
Yeah, kind of just the prow of the longboat.
I'm going to say even too that's going to upgrade its difficulty. Like you've knocked it off of its.
Cool.
Yeah, let's do that. I like that.
And then for the advantage, I'm going to recover 1 strain.
Okay, perfect. And that will bring us back to the top of the order. So that's a PC slot.
So how many of them are left?
So there is the big ferry and then a smaller one.
Are both of them close enough?
Yes. Yeah. You've just rammed into one. So she's right at the front of that boat. And the other one is inside with you. It's close. Was attacking Argus.
All right. I think Nicola's going to go after the one attacking Argus and try and punch this thing with her arm. Try to punch it off the boat. Maybe.
Okay.
We'll go with punching for now.
Perfect. So difficulty-wise, it's 2 purple, and then 1 setback for the weather, 1 setback for disorient. You have been given a boost die, so you have a blue die for that, and then whatever your arm does.
All right. Holy crap. Okay. I think I did that right. That's 2 yellow, 2 green, 1 blue, 2 purple, and 2 black.
Yep.
Okay. I got 7 success.
Woo.
and 3 threat.
3 threat. Okay, so 7 success. So you're doing 6 additional damage to this creature on top of what you would normally do. So you can just describe how you're killing this thing with your fist.
I imagine Nicola, after she takes a quick look, she tries to see if everyone is doing better. They're not as injured. And she turns because Argus is the one that she hadn't taken care of, I guess, yet. And she sees this fairy, and she goes to push this fairy away with the intention of going to help him, but instead she pushes so hard she actually caves in the chest with her mechanical arm of this fairy. You hear this sickening crack as she connects, and the fairy's lifeless body just kind of falls over the edge.
Okay, and then for your 3 threat, what I'm going to say is that you were not expecting this much damage, or this, this no resistance basically, and it has thrown you completely off your balance. It is going to grant this bigger creature, like you've propelled yourself towards the front of the boat while you're pushing this creature off, flying in the air. So you are now within range of this other creature, and you are basically giving her a wide open target as you've put yourself off balance. She will have an additional advantage against you.
Yeah.
Okay. And that brings us to that creature's turn. And she's going to take advantage of attacking you. So do you have any melee defense? We'll start right there. Nicola.
Sorry, you kind of...
Am I cutting out?
Yeah.
Internet's like going stupid. Sorry. Do you have any melee defense?
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay. So difficulty to hit you is 2, but because of I can't remember whose turn it was. Because of the critical injury she took, difficulty is increased by 1 die for this. So now it's 3. But she's getting a boost die from the advantage against you. Then the weather is disadvantage, and then we have the attacks. Okay. So she is trying to rip into you with her teeth and her claws. And that will be a success, a triumph, and that is it. So you are going to take 4 points of damage minus your soak as she rends you with her claws, and she is going to force you to roll a critical injury with this triumph. And because the bite is so vicious, you are adding 10 to this crit roll. Did you catch that, Megan?
No, sorry. I think it was my internet this time.
Yeah, I was noticing you just kind of stopped there. Okay, so she got a triumph and a success.
Yeah.
So she hits you for 4 points of damage minus your soak. And then you're going to have to roll on the crit table plus 10.
Oh, stop. Internet, please.
Can you hear me any better? Oh, there you go. She's got you covered in the chat.
Okay. Sorry, my internet just like downgraded to the shitty one, so I had to put it back up. Okay, so that...
Oh no.
That's a percentile. Internet, please. I beg you. I just want to play.
Yes, percentile.
That's a 29.
And that's with the 10
Yep.
added?
That's with the 10 added.
Perfect. So you are taking a discouraging wound. Moves one player pool story point to my pool.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's all that was. But you have this lingering injury that you'll have to heal at some point. Just so we know, for every critical injury that you have, when you get another one, it adds 10% to the roll. So they kind of accumulate.
So, as an aside, I definitely want to add discouraging wound to my everyday usage. That's going to work its way into my vocabulary now.
I am discouragingly wounded.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
That describes just about every day of my life.
So that will bring us to the next PC slot.
Charlie, you want it?
I'll take it. So I am covered in fairy ichor and blood. Nicola, did you kill the one you are? Or the one that attacked you? Or is that just the last one that's attacking you and we killed the big one?
I guess just the big one left, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, Megan's.
So in like a hunch, I think Mr. Fisk, I grabbed one of your pistols off your waist and I level it at this thing in an attempt to shoot it.
Okay, so for difficulty, you will have one red die, one purple die, a black die because you're disoriented, a black die because of the weather, and a black die because she's actually harder to hit, being all wispy, etc.
Don't ever tell me the odds.
This is why we have Charlie.
I'm ranged. So I am going to use a story point. We have story points left.
You have 2 left, yeah. So this will
Use one of those to upgrade one of my die further. And I am going to use my lucky ability, giving me 2 extra boost die.
Okay, and so I'm actually at this point going to use one of these story points to upgrade that purple to a red.
Okay.
That last one. So you'll be rolling 2 reds instead of 2 purples.
So I have to re-roll a black still.
Okay.
Gosh, I'm using like every single die I have right now. Be good. Decent. I still need to re-roll a black. Failure. We're looking at 3 advantage, 1 success.
Okay, so you managed to hit this creature How much damage do you do? You do not do any extra damage, just the base weapon. It's a pistol, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's 6 damage.
Plus, is that affected by like agility or anything?
No, it's just a straight base
Yeah.
damage.
So it'd be 6 plus. Wait, I had 1 success, so just 6 then.
Just 6, yeah. And then how many advantage did you say?
3.
3. So you can spend those. So ignoring the environment would take away the setback die for you for the weather. You could take away their ranged defense.
Kind of like blind it somehow. Like this flash going off in its face.
Sure, and we can actually say that will yeah, so basically effectively we'll take away that defense that they have.
That extra setback die.
Yeah, yes, because instead of using their wings to kind of hide kind of where they're at and making it more difficult to, you've blinded them, and so they've kind of taken it back a little bit, and there's less of that fluttering etherealness that they've got.
So yeah, sword in one hand, I pull this pistol off Bronson's belt, fire, in an attempt to maim this thing, and that's all I got.
Brings us to the next PC slot.
So, do I remember this right, that the big one is dead, or are we still working on the big one?
All the other ones are dead except for the big one.
And we're still in range of the big one.
Yes.
We rammed the ship or the boat into it.
Yeah, you rammed the boat into it. It's attacked Nicola. So it's right there in the front of the boat where you and Nicola are, and it just got shot.
Excellent. I would like to Ginsu this thing.
Okay. So it does not have a defense. So you have 1 setback from the weather, 1 setback from the disorient. It has 1 red die and 1 purple die against you, and then your own yellows and greens.
Yeah, 2 yellows, 1 green, yes? Or 2 greens, 1 yellow.
What?
I think it's 2 yellow.
2 yellows, 1 green. And I'm sorry, you've got that injury, so you have to add a purple die.
Yes, I do. Thank you for catching that. I would have missed it. I just like rolling die. Could have been worse. Okay, counting. Okay, so the good of it is I have... it's not that good. 1 success and 6 advantage. But I've got 2 failures and 5 threats.
So if I did this right, you've end with 1 failure, but with 1 advantage. So you fail to hit the creature, but you have an advantage that you can use.
Okay.
So you can like recover a strain, or you can give a boost die to the next person going, or something along those lines.
I'll give a boost die to whoever attacks this thing next.
Yeah, it'll be the next person. Okay. All right. Did you want to do any maneuver at this moment? You've done your action.
Can I count a maneuver as telling Nico to aim down with this boat and start working our way?
Yeah, you can yell that for free. You cannot, however, actually move the boat at this point.
For sure.
Okay. And that would bring us to the next PC slot.
Okay.
Okay, so you will get an additional boost die.
Oh, cool. Okay. So running forward to where the front of this ship is, Mr. Fisk will once again brandish this switchblade that he has and is going to try to cut this bitch. All right. So it's going to be 3 yellow, 1 green, 2 purple, a boost die, and
So-
2. Go ahead.
One of those purple is actually a red.
Oh, that's right, because she's tougher.
Yeah.
Um,
And then the 2 black, right? You're 1 disorient and 1 green.
you know, now I'm kind of thinking. Okay, whenever you say she's larger than the others, like how large are you talking?
So she's bigger than you are, and the
Right.
other ones were smaller. So she's not like much bigger. Like, let's say her actual body is probably about your size, but then she's got these wings that go
They're
out from there.
proportionate.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to change my tactic. Instead of attacking with my sword, I actually have 4 of those grenades remaining,
Okay.
and I'm going to pull one of those and light it. I have the quick draw. What is it called? Talent.
Okay.
I don't know if that necessarily does anything in this situation, but I'm going to light the grenade and cut the fuse kind of short before I light it, so that there's not much of a delay. So he's kind of got it laid out on like one of the rowing seats in the boat, and he's kind of striking this, flint against steel. Actually, he just uses the hammer on his pistol. He just cocks it back. There's no powder or shot loaded in it, and he's just going to use the flint striking against the strike plate to just light the fuse on this grenade. And then he's going to cock his arm back and throw it, trying to get it kind of behind her to see if it'll detonate before it falls too far away. Okay, so it's a ranged attack, which is one of my yellows, green, boost die, 2 black, a purple, and a red.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's see. These successes, the failures go away. Goes away, but it leaves 2 advantages. But it's also 2 threat. Wow. Yeah. Okay. That's a complete and total wash. Everything canceled out.
Okay. So you did not roll a despair, however, right?
The despairs are no. Mm-mm.
Okay. So I would say in this case that you try to light this thing, and in the weather with the rain, it just fails to light. Yeah, nothing absolutely happens. But you would have spent a maneuver to get there and your action to try to do this. So your turn is effectively over unless you wanted to spend strain for another maneuver. Okay, brings us to the last PC slot. Who hasn't gone this round?
I think we've all gone, haven't we?
Nicola, go.
Nicola went before the
punched the
creature. And the
Yeah, I
creature.
punched it.
So maybe
I don't
Charlie
think
didn't.
Charlie has gone yet.
Yeah, because I shot it. I shot it in the face.
Oh, and then
maybe that
Argus.
was the
Okay,
last.
okay, so that was the end of the round. So we're back up to the top. So any one of you could go.
How's this thing looking?
It is looking injured, but not out of it yet. Like it's hurt, but not substantially, we'll say.
Do we have any other guns on the boat?
We could just
Actually,
reload.
I have a grenade. I had grenades too. Yeah, well, I think we used the bomb vest itself to destroy the boat, but I know I had a grenade, so
Yeah, and you can reload your pistols too. It just takes a maneuver to reload,
Yeah.
and then you can shoot. Yeah.
I just don't think I'm thinking this like linearly, where it's like I'm like just grabbing onto ideas as I can see them. So I see. I'm gonna reload my gun. That's linear enough. So yeah, as a maneuver, I fill my pistol with gunpowder, pack down the pellet, and I'm gonna roll ranged.
Okay, so for you, for this, it'll be 1 red, 1 purple, 1 setback for the weather, 1 setback for your disorient, and the I believe that, yeah, the negating defense has worn off, so 1 setback for that as well. So it should be 3 black dice, 1 red, 1 purple.
Not good. not looking good. I guess not too bad. 1 threat total.
So you fail to hit her. Your shot goes wide. And you'll take a strain in this whole trying to ram the powder down and get this ready and aim. It's just taking too much for your poor disoriented mind, and you will take another strain.
My mind's all right. Body, not so much.
That brings us to the creature itself. Nicola, you are right in front of it. You are attacking it, and it is attacking you back. You have no melee defense, right? Okay. 2, and then the weather. So that's 2 successes with 1 threat. So you can spend the threat on her. Meanwhile, you are taking 5 points of damage minus your soak from her claws and teeth as she rends into you some more. And what would you like to do with that threat?
Sorry, I don't have the cheat thing open. What kind of things can I do with the threats?
So threat, you can cause her a strain, make her lose if she was aiming or whatever. In this case, a strain is actually a wound damage because she is a rival creature.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give her a strain then.
Okay. Yeah, so in the fact she's trying to bite at you and claw at you, and she probably bashes her hand or claws against your arm, your metal arm, and takes some damage from that. She wasn't expecting it. And that will bring us to the PC slot, another PC slot.
All right, Nicola is going to go in kind, as this is, I would imagine, the first actual melee she's ever been in well, obviously with something like this, but just like this one-on-one kind of combat. So she's going to wind up with her arm again and just try to hit this thing where it hurts. She's used to human anatomy, so she is going to try and see if she can hit this thing where she would think that it would hurt a lot. So that's 2 black. I know that for sure, right?
Yeah, 2 black. And in this case, and I'm going to use a story point and have you do 2 red.
Instead of the 2 black or instead of the 2 purple?
Instead of having a purple and a red, you'll have 2 red.
And then okay. I'm just going
Yeah,
to
so you should be rolling 2 red, 2 black, and then whatever it is for your brawl.
Right. Okay. Okay. Sorry, that's so that is 3 success and 2 threat.
Okay, so you do an additional 2 damage with your hand. How much damage do you normally do?
I am not sure.
Is this, you're just doing an unarmed attack?
Yeah, so it's just your brawn, right?
Yeah, so base damage is brawn.
So that's 4.
Okay.
Also, do we have any story points left?
You have 3 story points. Yeah.
I'm gonna use one. And I'm gonna use my lucky strike.
Okay.
Which I add damage equal to my rank in that characteristic. So another 4. Is that right?
Yeah. Your rank.
So is that 9 damage?
So yeah, so it was 5 and then 4, so it was 9 damage. Plus, I believe you had an additional success, right? So that's 10 damage.
Yeah, I had 3 success and 2 threat.
So 2. Okay, so 2 additional. So that's 11 damage.
Ugh.
So you can describe how this fist destroys this creature.
So again, Nicola does not know her own strength with this arm that she has. She uses it more for finesse, as it is more steady, but she has never really tapped into the power that this arm has. And so without even thinking, she's trying to dodge these things, attacks and bites, and she rears back and she just punches this thing in the face. And it sends it flying down into the depths below.
And as it's going, you hear this screech, this unholy screech that just kind of wants to make your eardrums bleed as it fades away, screaming into the distance. And that is it for the combat. So at the end of the combat, you guys get to do this right before we do. You can make a discipline or cool check to recover strain. So there's no difficulty or anything. You're just rolling your either discipline or your cool. For every success, you will recover 1 strain.
Sorry, every one you'll get 2 or just 1?
1.
Okay, yeah. Cool. I got 1 success.
Anything that is done with advantages?
No, not on this one. No.
Okay. Then I recovered 2 strain. It's pretty good, actually.
I recovered nothing.
And I think what we'll do at this point, this is a good place to stop for a break if anybody needs a break. I know I do. And so break for 5 to 10 and we'll meet you back here shortly.
Wow.
Howdy, howdy.
Hello. That was brutal.
Yeah, those creatures were nasty. I love creatures that are both physically imposed, like they can deal a lot of damage and they're like savage and vicious in how they approach combat, but also have like this ability to mess with your mind.
Oh yeah, create nightmares
Yes,
and make
it was
them real.
awesome. I love that. The part where like the boat was like splintering and like exploding, and like the stuff with like the blankets tightening around her. Love it. It's fantastic.
Ropes coming down from the ship.
Yes.
Oh freaking marionette.
It was like, that is so Pirates of the Caribbean.
First time I've died in a Genesis game.
You did die. What are you talking about?
Yeah, this is the closest I've ever came to dying in a Genesis game.
Well,
Part of him died. I mean, let's be honest.
The question is, how many parts are left?
Mm.
How many times has this happened before? Nicola is indeed One Punch Man.
One
Absolutely.
Power is the power.
Oh my god. She just needs that like stupid face he makes all the time.
Nicola, what are you doing? Are you shaving your head?
No, I just ran a mile a day. I did 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups.
Oh, okay.
Oh god.
Blarg.
There, yeah, I almost went. It's like, I hope I don't go down a second time.
You are muted, Miss Karen.
I'm sitting here, blah, 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 and nobody's listening. All right, then. Okay, so as this creature falls off off the edge down, screaming its foul sound, you can still hear sounds of fighting and terror on the ship above you. Something is still going on up there, but it is to you guys. What are you doing at this moment?
We need to get the fuck out of here right now.
For once, I agree with Charlie.
Yes, as good as it might be to go and raid their stores and see what they may have on hand, I think Charles is speaking words of wisdom for once.
Raid their stores? Who knows if their stores come to life and attack us?
Gather your courage, Charles.
All right.
Gather your courage.
Nicola, are you okay?
You see Nicola is sitting with her head in her hands. What were those things?
Demons, devils of some kind.
Yeah, her face is totally smeared in fairy blood right now.
There is I'm going to say this is probably made of metal. There's a metal humanoid mask to your right. And Charlie, do you mind? You hand me that?
Nicola just nods and... All right. How are the rest of you feeling?
And as Nicola actually comes close to you, she's covered in this ichor, this foulness. You smell this dank, earthy smell of mold on her, followed shortly thereafter the sweet putrescence of like rotting flesh. She is covered in this stuff, and as are quite a few of you, actually.
Mr. Sheffley kind of quietly heaves a little bit.
I don't even think there's any hesitation with Charlie. I don't even think, actually, he doesn't throw up. He's just dry heaving because there's nothing left. Adrenaline is finally worn off.
Would I be able to make like a lore roll and see if I can like recall any kind of information on exactly what that was, or even an approximation?
Absolutely. You can give me a lore check. Difficulty is hard, so 3 purple.
Okay. So I've got 1 lore, so that gives me 1 yellow. Yeah. Off of intellect. So 2 green, 1 yellow.
Yes. Yeah.
And 3 purple.
Yes.
Excellent. Not bad. So, 3 threats, 3 advantage, 1 success. So left all in all 1 success.
So, I mean, it was obvious these are not from this world. These are otherworldly creatures. But you seem to recall that you have maybe read about these in your books at one point in your schooling. That these are fae. But they are unlike any fae that you've ever read. These tricksters, these creatures that can warp our worlds. These were dark. These were twisted. And this does not match what you know the fae are supposed to be.
See, I would have to disagree with you there, Mr. Bronson. These do not appear to be any kind of demonic creatures. These look as if some corrupted form of creatures that some of the locals might identify as fae, the fairies. They're hard to label, really. Not much is known about them. This doesn't seem right, though.
What is the difference between demons and whatever these were?
Well, I think the answer would remain clear if you actually ran into something wholly demonic, as much more unpleasant than what we currently are looking at.
I would hate to see something. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, please.
I would hate to see something more unpleasant than what we just saw.
Respectively speaking, I don't think there's anything I'd rather see more.
Quite. I suggest we vacate these premises as quickly as we possibly can. Nico, let's head out. Make it so.
So I'll have you roll for him. You're only rolling because the storm is still buffeting. It's still extremely windy, and you're about to head back down
No worries.
into this Isles of Teeth, these sharp rocks, and you're really not in a ship that was made for actual flying, but more like gliding, like you've jury-rigged this thing. So we're going to say he's got he gets 2 yellow and 1 green for his ability. And you will have 2 setbacks, one for the weather and one for the fact that this is not really meant for that kind of chip. And 2 purples for the difficulty, because you are smaller and you're going a lot slower than you were before.
As Nico grabs hold of the controls, Mr. Sheffley sits down and looks to the group. I would suggest you hold on. You know, when Mr. Sheffley tells you something like that, he is deadly serious. All right. Pretty good. 4 successes, 2 advantage, 1 failure, and 2 threats. So, all in all, 3 successes.
So you can describe the flight back to your ship.
Oh, for sure. The storm is definitely buffering us around, and as we get closer into the teeth and space becomes a premium, we nosedive down through the horizon of the teeth themselves, and as we try to level ourselves out, maybe an outjutting rock kind of bounces out and knocks a chunk of the boat free. So we got like a little tooth mark along the side here, beside Nicola. And we would circle our way down in a spiral pattern until we roughly land onto the deck of the Folly. Hey, nothing to worry about.
Bronson has to physically remove his hands from the gunnel. He's probably got the kind of line in your palm from holding on to something too tight, as the color slowly returns to his hands. And he kind of calmly just kind of stands up, takes a side step over the gunnel of the longboat onto the deck of the ship.
As soon as Nicola gets out, she looks at the 3 of them. After we tell the captain what happened, I expect to see all 3 of you in the, well, I guess the kitchen. I demand to see the 3 of you in the kitchen right after. Do I make myself clear?
Aye, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Could I request perhaps a wash? And he kind of indicates the fact that you're covered in this disgustingness.
Right. Maybe we should all use a wash, and then I'll meet you there.
Would hate to see some of this in the Lotta.
Did you guys clean yourselves up before visiting?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I
Before
think
visiting the
she's
captain?
probably there while we're doing it. I don't really think we would get the privacy to go bathe. This is kind of what the hell happened?
Privacy? I thought we were all stripping down here and washing with the rain.
Potato, potato, my friend.
So while you're cleaning yourselves up on the deck of the ship in this rain, the captain indeed comes out. So, has it been done? Did you succeed? You're back here. It better have been.
Sheffley would look over to Mr. Fisk to be the one with the proper vocabulary to answer these questions.
Mr. Fisk kind of like almost snaps to attention as like the captain approaches, and then realizes that there's other things to do, and there's not usually that much formality. So then he kind of goes back to kind of scrubbing all of this grossness off of him. Yes, sir. It is done. The ship, if there's anyone left alive on board, I don't think she'll be flying anytime soon.
You managed to kill like everyone aboard?
No, sir. Not exactly. We ran into a third party who seemed intent to tear both of us to pieces.
And do we have to worry about this one? This third party? Was it the damn Cossiers? And their ships? Speak, man! Oh God, what is that stench?
He kind of looks to the other three, like uncertain that he even wants to like put voice to what just happened, especially in front of any of the crew. Because if there's a suspicious lot ever, like it's a pirate crew. And he doesn't want to spread gossip. So he kind of lowers his voice and leans closer to the repelled captain. It was some form of unnatural creature. So, damn it, I just lost your name. Jason. Sheffley?
Sheffley, yes. Okay.
Mr. Sheffley has the details, sir.
And he's apparently like repulsed by you guys. You guys stink. You're disgusting. And he's like, oh, well, clean yourselves up and talk to me later. And with that, he kind of like turns and walks away because I don't know what you be on, but we'll have words. You mind me. And he'll disappear into his cabin.
Imagine Argus is trying to peel the shirt off of the bite wound. Some of the blood may have been dried or mixed with this ichor. I can't imagine it being any kind of comfortable.
I can imagine that as soon as Nicola gets anything on her skin that's off, she's going to go change into something else, anything else. And she's going to go to the kitchen and start getting stuff ready to kind of patch up everyone, where she has a lot more supplies and she can stitch people up and stuff like that.
Yeah, so if you want, you can, for those who want to go visit Nicola in her kitchen, you can make a medicine check for each one of them if you wanted to.
We make a medicine check for ourselves, or Nicola roll for each person?
It would be Nicola rolling, unless you want to test your own medical skill against.
I would really not.
So who will visit me in the kitchen?
Damn it, Jim. I'm a mister, not a doctor.
As well, I didn't write down the exact number we had of those things. I believe it was something like 10 or something crazy like that. I'm not sure if you have it.
Yeah, I wrote it down.
But I will write it down.
I had that you made 13 healing tonics and 2 of them were and 2 poisons. So you have now used up 2 of the healing tonics.
So that means
You'd have, you'd have 11 and
11.
then.
Okay, so in addition to those who need it, I would also give them tonic. So are all 3 of you coming down? In that case, I'll make 3. Or
Yes. It would just be us 4 down there, yeah?
Yeah, at this point, I mean, there's a lot of kind of movement around of the rest of the crew, but really, at this point, you guys have decided like to hunker down. They were waiting for you to deal with the problems up above. And now with the storm going on, I can't imagine that you're too eager to fly away in this at this point. So everybody seems to have been kind of settled in a little bit. So there might be a couple of people in the galley, like the eating area, but not necessarily so much in the actual kitchen. And if you are taking a second healing tonic today, the healing that you would get from it is actually reduced by 1. So the second one would heal only 4.
So if I were to roll medicine, as I'm kind of getting everything out and stitching them up, what kind of challenge would that be?
Okay, so this is a medical check, and you can either, there's 2 types of checks you can do, and you can actually probably do one of each if you want. There's the medical check to heal wounds, and then there's a medical check to try to heal a critical injury. So the medical check for wounds is, depending on how hurt you are, it'll either be an easy check or an average check in this case. And then the critical wound difficulty is based on whatever critical wound they have taken. So,
okay. So why don't we go one at a time and just kind of, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so do the first one.
Okay, we'll start with Fisk, I guess. You're at 10 out of 14?
Yes, that is
Yes,
correct.
so that'll be an average. So that'll be 2 purple die to try and heal him.
Okay, that is 2 success I got.
And did you get any advantage?
No.
Okay, so you heal 2 wounds.
2 wounds. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You didn't have any damage or the lingering?
Critical?
Yeah.
No. Somehow I managed to escape all of that.
Okay. Then we'll do maybe Charlie next if you're down.
I could use some stitches. I think a rib's broken. The biggest thing is I can't feel my fingers anymore. Bit into my neck.
So when you guys are looking in the chat, like when you say you're 10 out of 14, it means you have 10 wounds?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Oh, sorry. I like hit points from D&D.
Okay.
I have 10 out of my 14 remaining.
Okay, so
now I'm 12 out of 14.
Okay. Yeah, so
I have 2 wounds.
That would have changed the difficulty. Okay. So
oh, sorry. That's my fault.
I should have asked before. So Baron, when you're saying you have 3 out of 11, means you have 3 before you hit 11? Like you have 3 points left?
3 points left.
Okay. So yours would for sure be an average check because you're so close to your threshold.
But I did have a critical wound.
And you have a critical. Yeah, so those are
that'll be 2 different checks, right?
Yeah, 2 checks. And you can only attempt a critical injury check, like to heal it, once a week. So if this fails, then you can't do it again for another week.
Right. Okay. So to heal the wounds, not the critical injury, I got 3 success and 1 advantage.
Okay. So Charlie would heal 3 wounds and heal 1 strain.
And then to do the critical injury, is that another medicine check?
Yes, it would be a medicine check. And Charlie, what was the name of your critical injury?
I remember that it was whatever it was. Is it made my agility at 1 harder or something?
Was it Stinger? Because somebody got Stinger. Okay, Stinger. That's an easy check, Nicola. So it's just a 1 purple.
Okay. So I got 4 success and 1 advantage.
Okay, so that means you are now healed from that critical injury. Charlie, you no longer have it.
So yeah,
Second
she's
time
like,
you saved my life.
well, you do not move as much as the others, so I guess I can do a better job on you.
When you say move, and you refer to me being dead, I don't really have much choice.
Take of that what you will, but I'm glad you're doing better.
Thank you. Truly.
Cool. And then the last is Shefley.
Yeah, Argus has 5 wounds and a critical that was a 2. There's a term for that. Let me scroll down. Severity. Yeah, 2 severity. So that would be 2 difficulty.
You were compromised. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah. So this is a difficulty 2.
Okay. So I got 1 success, 2 advantage, and 1 triumph.
Yeah. So he is healed from his compromised. So he no longer has that one.
Huzzah!
And then wounds, did you want me to do that as well?
Mm-hmm. Please.
What difficulty would that be?
So you have 5 wounds out of your threshold, like.
Yeah.
So you've taken 5 wounds.
I have taken 5 wounds.
And your threshold is.
That was a good question. 12.
12. Okay, so you're under half. So then this is an easy check. So it's just 1 purple.
Oh. That's 1 success and 2 advantage.
So you'd heal 1 wound and 2 strain.
Yeah. And I believe for him, if he took the medicine, it would do 5 for him because he hasn't taken the.
Yeah, if he takes the tonic, it would be 5 hit points. Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. Yeah, that would completely heal me and bring me down to 1 strain.
And with the discrepancy that I gave you earlier, would that have changed the effectiveness of her healing for Fisk? Because instead of being down 10 wounds, I was only down 4.
It would have just made her check on you easier. She wouldn't have had to roll 2 purples. She just rolled 1 purple instead.
Okay.
Yeah. So then there's. Did you take a critical injury too?
I did.
Yeah. So you can try to heal yourself.
Is there a way to like aid another? I don't know if you want Fisk necessarily doing it, but
so you could try to heal yourself, but it actually will add 2 more purples to the die, like to the roll, because you're trying to heal yourself. Or somebody else could try, but with a lower medicine. It's up to you guys. I mean,
I do have like 3 rank to medicine.
Like you're not going to injure yourself more if you.
Yeah.
Well, unless you get a despair, then you might. But you just wouldn't be able to try again for a week if you failed.
That's. You know what? I'm going to try. I think after Nicola is helping everyone and after people, her hands are all bloody from your guys' blood and she washes them off. She takes a quick drink of healing tonic. So is that going to do the 5? Is that fine? Even
if it's the first one you've drank today, then it's 5. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. She's going to ask one of you to come over and just I imagine almost that she has this big gash on her good shoulder. Would one of you mind helping me with this? I just need you to hold my shoulder close.
He kind of looks to the others, almost embarrassed maybe because there's like so much skin showing. And we're talking about a shoulder here. And he's going to, scandal. He's going to go over and kind of, yes, mom. And he's going to kind of like hold with his hands, like while turning his face away, like whatever it is that you need him to do?
A little more pressure. I need you to hold it closed, not graze it, please.
Yes, of course. And he'll kind of like try his best to like press this wound closed.
You hear Nicola
not wanting to look.
Yeah, you hear Nicola just kind of like grunt in the page. She's like, "That's good, thank you," and she's gonna try and do this.
So you're doing a critical injury one at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. So you took a discouraging wound, so that's an easy one, but then you have to add 2 purple. So you'll get
that's
3
purple.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That is 2 success and 1 threat.
So you are healed from your discouraging wound. I can't imagine what a threat would do. Maybe you scream out in pain, or you slap Mr. Fisk because he's, poked you in the wrong spot or something. But
Mr. Fisk has a disadvantage against the next female he touches.
oh, that's too funny. Okay, so you're all battered and bruised and somewhat still a little bit bloodied. You're effectively waiting out this storm. What do you guys want to do?
I've been going over in my head these creatures that we just fought off. I would look to the others. I would know where there would be a settlement that would have a really great library, right?
Yes. I'm not sure where you hailed from. Do you?
I'm not sure either.
Okay. So for sure, like on the mainland, the big city, Paragon, would definitely have some sort of university or some sort of place of schooling where they have all this information.
Okay.
Is that where I went to university? Or no?
It is now.
Yeah, probably.
I can't imagine that a capital city like Paragon would look too kindly on a pirate crew setting birth anywhere near it. So,
in fact, you are somewhat close to the mainland. You're probably like a week away from the mainland versus where you were 2 weeks from where you set off at Port Havrin. So you are closer to that side, but that is where the Empire ship came from that you have just disabled above you.
Not only that, you're going to get the captain to be able to go there.
tell me, Charlie, how many folks do you know in the smuggling business?
It's funny you should ask that, Mr. Fisk. That's what I did. That's what I do. What I do with the ropes, that's just a secondary talent.
Believe we should have need of some books or scrolls detailing some of these creatures. I have sneaking suspicions that perhaps this storm was not natural in its making, and if these things can do this, then it would be of utmost importance that we find out exactly what is going on with this.
Well, perhaps rather than smuggle ourselves into the capital, why don't we smuggle the books out?
Precisely what I was asking. Thank you for catching up.
Sorry, you must forgive me. I was chewed on by fairies or whatever the fuck was that.
Quite.
Not your fault. I'm sorry. Having a bit of a roughie today, as you can imagine. Yes, we can smuggle the books out.
And how would you suggest that we do that? Just walk in and say, yes, we'd like your books, please. We're just, oh, look that way. We're going this way.
That type of skullduggery would be best suited for people of his ilk. Pointing to Charlie.
Sure. Crashwater Walker and my good pal Moogie. Both should still live within the city. We can merely get word to them. They can do the work for us. And all it would be is us picking him up and getting back to ship.
Is Moogie the same chap who Fisk kind of leaves hanging in the air? Surely not.
Yeah, Moogie, you remember.
Unfortunately, yes. I do.
Good chap.
Well, you have to be a student to be able to go and even get close to the library. Surely they will be stopped before then.
I feel like that's more their problem as compared to ours, don't you think?
I see you care very much about your friends.
I'm not trying to smuggle my friends out. We're trying to get information. Whatever we fought today, I have never seen that in my life. And I've sailed the seas for a very long time, and if I have ever the opportunity to see that again, would like to know what it is at the very least.
Yes, quite agreed.
How's little tree doing?
Knowledge is power. So if it's something that can be defined, then perhaps there could also be something to help us kill it. At least kill it faster and with less sacrifice on our part.
So, did the body fall into the aisles that we're in?
Mm-hmm.
On the teeth?
Yes. Not to mention,
Perhaps it could use a closer look.
for once we are on the same page, Charlie. Imagine, if you will, the value to alchemy in general, much less some less scrupled alchemists themselves.
So, this thing was made of flesh?
That's a word for it.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. It doesn't smell like that, but that's what it felt like when you were.
I don't want to know what it smells like. Good.
You're suggesting that we bring the body of this creature back onto the ship with us?
The whole body? No. They're much too superstitious folk aboard this ship. You know this, Mr. Fisk.
I do. That's what my concern is.
But perhaps parts in vials or containers of sorts.
Well, you see, smuggling goes a lot of ways. We could potentially smuggle some of it on the ship.
I think we should be very careful of who we let have knowledge of this. The captain, for certain. He says, kind of like squashing that outright. But beyond his ears.
I think outside this circle, this should not be talked about.
We must tell the captain. It is his ship.
I will let you deal with that, Mr. Fisk. You're much better with words than I.
We could keep it in here. No one ever comes to the kitchen. We can keep it. And she would I would assume that there's some sort of like cellar or something where they keep like their salted meats and stuff like that. Like a dry cellar.
Yeah, there'd be like a room below decks, not down in the bottom where it could get. Well, there's no water here, so yeah, down in the bottom parts where cargo would be held, there'd be probably a special room set for you for the food, your dry provisions.
Right. If people were caught there stealing food, they'd have a lot more to worry about than just, well, finding something unexpected.
If we're keeping it with the food, I don't think stealing food's going to be an issue.
Mr. Fisk, you know this ship and its compartments better than anyone here, yes? Surely there is a smaller compartment that we might be able to stash this in that would not stink the gruel up.
I suppose we could attempt to keep it in the armory, perhaps with some of the powder. I think this is an area where the captain's expertise would ring with some truth.
Sheffley would bite his tongue again.
Should I fetch Captain Gruben now, or should I have a conversation later?
Later. Let's put at least a PowerPoint together to present to the captain before we include him in on superstitious nonsense.
Of course. As you see fit, Mr. Sheffley.
Well, gentlemen, lady, I seem to still stink. I will take my leave and get up and pat the shoulder that has been sewn up and look over to Nicola. My thanks again.
Nicola would just nod.
Yes, you seem to be a very gifted surgeon, Nicola. Perhaps you should return to the university at some point and teach what you know.
And give up all this. And she kind of flings her hand up to show the kitchen, and there's probably some blood on the floor.
Everywhere.
Not for the world.
It's quite the life we lead.
At some point, I want to go to the captain to not only talk about this as being a possibility, but he also wants to petition him pretty hard to go and check out what he thinks is probably likely a derelict ship now. The fact that there's got to be just untold valuables that are just left floating there is driving Fisk kind of insane.
Okay, so I'm going to say I'm looking at the time, and I'm going to say let's call it here, and we will take up the story where we're kind of leaving off, talking to the captain and that thing. All right, thank you guys. Thank you. I hope you had fun.
So much fun. So much fun. That was brilliant.
I'm going to throw it out to you guys for your outros. Anything you want to say? We'll start in the reverse order. Baron, you are up first.
What's up, everybody? I'm Baron. I run the YouTube channel RWD Gaming. We play D&D over there, so this is a nice, refreshing change of pace with Genesys. Fuck, Karen, you are 2 for 2 with exciting combat. I'm stressed and I have stuff to do tonight and I don't want to anymore. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, I think. So, I'm glad you enjoyed that. Jeremy.
It's like, thanks for ruining my evening with how much fun I just had. No, yeah, I had a great time. Yeah, the Dowrenland game that you ran earlier this week, And now this one, I have to second what Baron said. I mean, it feels like I think you have finally found your confidence as a GM. And you are doing things that are well outside the box of the norm. And you're making situations that are really engaging and fun. Not that you weren't before, but I feel that you're making these games your own now. And you're bringing your own really fantastic ideas that are not only pushing the story, but also pushing the mechanics of the systems that you're running, which is really a joy to kind of see happen. Because it feels like you're gaining new confidence and tools as a GM, and that's always really, really fun to watch somebody kind of grow into when they're running games. So I'm very, very glad that I'm able to be a part of that. The three of you to play with are always very, very fun. Three of my favorite people to play with, as a matter of fact. So thank you guys for making this a lot of fun. Playing a pirate it's something that's very near and dear to my heart. I've always loved pirates. So it's a lot of fun to kind of get to do that familiar romp. Again, I have a YouTube channel. It's called the Erasmus Expeditions. Go check it out. I do a lot of live plays and things. I'm also a third of the Dudes of Your podcast, also found on YouTube, where we talk about RPGs. I can't wait till next session and see where this is going. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. That was getting me right in the heart. Jason.
Oh, what can I say that hasn't already been said much more eloquently? I am blown away by some of the weaving and story elements that you're bringing in to this game. This is phenomenal to really get into, and you and the rest of the people here are just making it so easy to engross myself into what's going on. It's just really, really great. Thank you for running this. The second one Jeremy said, you are finding your sea legs, as it were, as a DM, and I would adore any opportunity I could to play at your table. Thank you again, not only to you and everybody here, but everybody watching now or in the future. My name's Jason Smith. I run Smith Forge Gaming. Come check us out, and definitely check out each and every one of the projects of these fine people here. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Jason. You guys are going to make me cry. So I'm going to pass it on to Megan.
Yeah, totally. I agree with everyone here. It's always, you can tell the talent of a DM when a cohesive story is coming together and all the plot points, all the backstories, all of that are coming together. And I think you are building something really, really, really awesome here. And I can't wait to see what happens next. So yes, and to the players, thank you so much. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I have 4 amazing players, and this has been a wrap. Thank you.